would like the capability of experimental automation, which is assisting Xerox research. It consists of a diverse collection of software running on a prototype multifunction workstation, a communications network, and shared facilities for filing and printing. The workstation consists of a display, a keyboard, a pointing device for locating information on the display, a processor, and storage. We will show three kinds of capabilities: document composition and processing, message communication, and graphical illustration. Barbara Baird will now show us a bit of the first of these. Barbara?
Thank you. I'm going to demonstrate a text editor. The text editor has three areas. The top area, which is the command area, which tells me what, and the black area, which is the document, and the document area. The thing that I would like to do is take words in the document. I want to make that word demo into demonstration, and by doing that, I give the R, which is replace command, and the command area changes, and now I can type in the word that I want. And it tells me to hit the escape key when I'm done, and it's finished. Another feature is when the cursor gets over in the left area, it changes. I hit the middle button on the mouse, and it selects the paragraph. I would like the paragraph to be justified on the right side. I give another command look and a J for justification, and it justifies. Now I would like to also make this paragraph indented. I'll give it another look command, and N for nested, and it's in a little ways. Indented. Another feature is changing the fonts. I would like to make those three words, for instance, italics. I give it the look command again and say I, and they're italicized. I would now like to make some hard copies of the document. I give the hard copy command, and I would like 5 copies, and give it a carry to return. It is that when the screen goes black, it tells me that it's gone off to a nearby printer.
Thank you, Barbara. Barbara's next action would be to go to the local printer and obtain the hard copies that she has created. I have one here to show you the close correspondence between the information as it was presented on the display for Barbara to work with and the information as it finally is obtained on the piece of paper. It's important that these be in close correspondence, and you will see that indeed they are. Thank you again, Barbara. We would now like to talk about message communication. And to do that, I would like to introduce Mike Schroeder.
I'm going to show you a research prototype of an electronic message system that uses the workstation and the communications network. You can think of this as an electronic postal service with delivery in seconds rather than hours or days. The message system has 2 parts, as illustrated by this diagram. The first part is software which runs on the user's workstations, indicated here by the boxes with the letters WS. The second part is a transport mechanism for delivering messages from the sender to the recipient. This transport mechanism includes a communications network and a message service computer indicated by the box up here with the letters MS in it. A user prepares a message for delivery using a text editor that runs in his workstation. When he's satisfied with its content, he indicates that it should be delivered, and it travels through the communication network to the message service computer, where it is stored in mailboxes associated with the recipients. This message is immediately available for delivery to the recipient, but it will stay in the message service computer until each recipient decides he wants to see the newly arrived mail. When this When this event occurs, the message travels through the communication network again to the recipient's workstation, where programs that are part of the message system allow reading, filing, answering, and forward of the message. At this point, let's look in on a workstation where we can see Jim Horning give a demonstration of the message system.
A key component of this electronic message system is a program that runs on a workstation and effectively temporarily converts it into a message processing machine. I'm going to start that program on my computer now. There'll be a brief delay while this program is brought in from the disk memory, while the screen is initialized, and while my mail file is retrieved. The message system screen consists of three main regions. The top region is a table of contents region. It contains an index of the messages in my current message file. For each message, there is a serial number, the date when it was sent, the person who sent it, and the title or subject assigned by the person who sent it. The second major region is the displayed message region. This will be used for viewing messages that have been received from other people. The third major region is the composed message region, and it will be used for composing new messages for transmission to other people. In addition to these three main regions, there are also a set of commands available on the screen in bold-faced letters. I can point to a command, and by pressing a mouse button, I can cause the command to be activated. Looking up here in the corner, I see that the mailbox server has told this machine that there is new mail waiting for me. So perhaps I should select the new mail command and cause the new mail to be retrieved. Again, there's a brief delay while the new mail is transferred from the mailbox server's memory through the communications network and into the memory of my workstation. It will then be indexed and added to the table of contents. Here are the four new messages which have been received, three of them indicated by question marks showing that I have not seen them before. I can display the first new message. It looks like electronic junk mail, but perhaps I should check it just to be sure. Well, there's not quite room enough in the displayed message region to see the whole message, so let me enlarge the region by pointing to the boundary and pressing a mouse button, moving the boundary. Yes, indeed, this entire message is just a junk message. I can delete it by selecting the delete command. Notice that a line is drawn through its entry in the table of contents, indicating my intention to discard it. I can display and delete the next message. Wait a minute, this is a message that has come from me, and I usually keep such messages, so I can undelete it, causing that line to be erased and the message to be retained. Display the following message. This is a message from Mike Schroeder, and it's about a visitor who will be visiting the laboratory. It looks like a message I should answer, so I can enlarge the composed message region, select the answer command, which causes a new form to be composed in which certain fields have been filled in. For example, the subject is taken from the subject field of the incoming message. It is directed back to the person that sent the incoming message. However, the message remains for me to compose. So I can type a message like, I would be interested in talking to this guy. I should now take a look and make sure this is what I want to say. It appears that I have left off the salutation. I have misspelled would. And there's still some junk on the screen. Get rid of that. Now that looks like the message that I would like to send. So I can select the deliver command. There will be a brief delay while the message is transmitted from my workstation to the mailbox server and stored there in the mailboxes of the recipients. Wait a minute, 127 recipients. That's clearly not what I intended. So I'd better cancel delivery, go back and have another look at the message. In the automatically generated carbon copy field, there are some distribution lists. I can have a look at the contents of one of these lists. Well, that's a pretty long list of people. Actually, I really only want this message to go back to Mike Schroeder, so I can delete all the copies and attempt delivery again. Okay, again, there will be a delay while this message is transferred to the mailbox server where it will be stored. It is now indicated as delivered, which means that my workstation is free for me to go off and read more mail, do something else entirely. And the next time Mike comes to get his mail, he should find this message waiting for him in his mailbox to be retrieved at his convenience.
The message that Jim just sent me is now in my mailbox on the message service computer. I could get it right now, or I could wait until later, but let's get it now. The first thing I have to do is start the message system running on my workstation. The herald in the upper left-hand corner of the screen indicates that I have some new messages. I can get them by invoking the new mail command, which causes my mailbox on the message service machine to be emptied through the network into my workstation. The new messages will be indexed at the end of this active mail file. And there's the message from Jim. It has a question mark on it indicating that I haven't seen it before, and I can display it. One of the things that the message system provides is facilities for indexing and retrieval later of previously sent messages. I keep a file of all messages having to do with visitors, and I'd like to move this message into that file. I do so by invoking the move to command and giving the name of the file. A line has been drawn through the entry for the message indicating that it's deleted from this file, and the letter M appears in the left margin to indicate that it's been moved. Let's go look at the other file and find the message there. I invoke the mail file command and provide the name of the other file. The current index disappears, and in just a few seconds, the new index reappears, and at the end of it, we see the message I just moved there. Also in this file is a copy of the original message I sent out, announcing the visitor, and several other responses which previously arrived. Another facility of the message system is the ability to make a hard copy of a message. I can select the original message and invoke the hard copy command. The message system will format the message as an inter-office memoranda, send it through the network to a nearby printing machine, and in a minute or so I can go pick up the printed copy of the message. Rather than walk down there right now, I have a copy which I made previously, which I can show you, of this particular message. You can see that it's in the form of an inter-office memoranda with the Xerox logo in the upper left-hand corner. Now at this point, I could switch my attention back to another mail file and continue processing the new mail which arrived, or I could wait until later to process that mail. I think I'll wait until later, so I bug the quit command, which causes the message system to stop running on this workstation and allows me to do something else. I think one of the interesting things that a message system like this illustrates is the added power you get by interconnecting workstations so they can talk to one another over isolated workstations which can't.
You have seen thus far document composition and processing and message communication. And now Jan Murphy would like to show you some examples of graphical illustration. Jan?
This is a graphics system. In reality, it's a drafting tool. It's not completely automatic. I'm still going to use the mouse and the buttons as well as the keyboard to draw the lines. However, the system does give you some help. For one thing, along the left side of the screen, you'll see a menu which allows me to choose different width for my lines. It allows me to draw circles, to delete, and to do some other things I'm going to show you later. There's also an underlying grid I can turn on. I don't know if you can see it or not, but that helps me when I want to draw an exactly straight line. Now, if I indicate 2 points on the screen by moving the cursor and pushing the button, I can get a straight line. If I indicate more than 2 points, the system will draw a line connecting those points and try to smooth out the curves for me. Now, that's not a very wide brush. Let me turn on a somewhat wider brush so you can see it better. Again, I will indicate more points on the screen, and the system draws the lines to each point in exactly the order in which I put it on the screen. Okay? Now let's draw a rectangle down here in the corner. I have to draw each side of the rectangle separately. There to there, and there to there. Now the system will help me draw a circle. When I pick up this circle with a cross in the middle of it, it will connect the points that I draw with a closed line. So if I indicate here 4 points on the screen, let's get these right, I get a circle. Now if I put the points down in this order, I get something that's, I don't know what you'd use it for, but it's a lot of fun to watch. Okay. Now, I think these 2 lines that I drew first are a little too thin for you to see them well, so I'll go over here, pick up the paintbrush, and cause those lines to be redrawn with a wider brush. Now, I'll show you the scissors. What they do is just make a dashed line out of it, or if I don't like that, I can turn it back to a solid line. Now, I'm going to get rid of some of these lines that I've drawn so I can show you something else. So I just move the cursor over each one and delete it. Now I'm going to take this rectangle that I drew a while back and use it as the basis of a very simple organization chart to show you something that you might use in an office. I have to select each of the sides of the rectangle. That tells the system what I'm working on. Now I'm going to move this rectangle up to the top of the screen. There you go. Now, I want to make a copy of the rectangle, and we'll put this one down here, and I'll make another copy and put it over here. Now, since this is supposed to be an organization chart, we have to show the way the power goes, so I'll make a line from there to there, and another line from there to there. Now, let's put some names in the boxes. Let's make the top box the president. Now, I'll take my cursor, move it up to the top of the screen, and insert the president. Now, if that's the president, let's make those 2 boxes vice presidents. Now, I've made a mistake there. All I have to do is backspace through the incorrect letter, type it again. Now I move the cursor up into the box again, and there's one vice president, there's the other one. I think I'll give it a simple-minded name like chart. And again, moving the cursor, I can place chart. Now I like that chart, but I think it's a little too high on the screen, so what I'm going to do is move it down a little. Picking up another arrow, saying from here to here. And I've already made a hard copy of it, so you can see what it looks like when I print it out. There you go.
Jan, I think you have in your electronic filing cabinet a copy of the picture that Mike Schroeder showed us earlier. Bring up a copy of that. Here's a graphic design with a little more complexity associated with it. Picture you've seen earlier. And here is the hard copy corresponding picture. Thank you very much, Jan. We have found that the power and effectiveness of these experimental capabilities comes from the ability to use them in combination. A computer-assisted editing system, for example, while useful as a separate capability, is significantly more effective when joined with capabilities to file, retrieve, print, draw, send, and receive information. Through experimentation, we are in the process of seeking ways to increase the systemic value of these capabilities, that is, their effectiveness taken as an integrated group of functions within a unified but physically distributed office information system. Thank you very much.